What do you say we take a little bit of cherry, or maybe a lot of bit of cherry, and make us a cherry desk? I think we can do it. Why don't you come along with me and let's get started. The cherry desk we're building is going to be built in the style of this nightstand. It's actually going to be a part of the collection in which this nightstand resides. As you can see, it's a pretty simple design with tapered legs and square joints. We're going to start by cutting up some 8/4 cherry to glue up for the top of our desk. Now, we really don't need 8/4 thickness, but I couldn't find any 4/4 thickness available. So we're just going to resaw this and make it work. So after cutting it to length on the miter saw, we take it over to the joiner to get one of the faces perfectly flat. Once that's done, we put that flat face against the fence and we get one edge flat. And then we just repeat that with all of our top pieces. Next, we've got them over at the table saw. Using that flattened edge against the fence, we're going to rip them down into more manageable size pieces. This allows us to cut out some of the defects while making the boards all a uniform width. It also helps with stability of the top. A wider board is more likely to cup and warp than a narrower one. Once we've got everything planed down and smoothed up, we're going to cut down the thickness of this top. Like I said, we don't need it as thick as it is. So by cutting a strip off, we save our planer some wear and tear. We're going to do that on all of our boards. Another benefit of making them thinner strips is I can resaw it on the table saw. Now we're going to run them through the planer to clean up those saw marks. And now it's time to glue up the top. I'm going to glue it up in 2 separate halves. That way, once it's dry, I can send each half one more time through the surface planer to get everything lined up and smooth and even. And then I will glue the 2 halves together, and then I only have to worry about getting the center joint even. We're clamping them all in the same set of clamps just to save time. Here I am planing each half individually, getting it smooth and even. And now it's time to glue the 2 halves together. Notice I've added one thinner piece of wood down the center. It's a sapwood piece, which is lighter in color. This gets me my overall width, plus it adds a little visual interest to the top. Next, we're gluing up some 3/4 inch thick cherry to make our leg blanks. Each leg is 3 pieces wide. Again, we're clamping them all at the same time though. And once the legs are dry, we use the joiner to square up 2 edges of each. And then with the square edge against the fence, we rip them down to approximately their final width. And then once more back to the joiner to remove the saw marks. Over at the miter saw, we've got a stop set up so we can cut them to length. Now each leg needs to have a slight taper on the inside 2 edges. So to accomplish this, we're using our homemade tapering jig. Now these are commercially available. This one is really similar to the Rockler version, but I built my own. The major thing to keep in mind is that the taper needs to end before the point where the desk skirt meets the leg. The skirt needs to intersect the leg where the leg is square, not tapered. This can be accomplished by being careful with your layout. As you can see, the saw leaves some saw marks on the taper. To fix these, we're going to take it back to the joiner and just take a little bit off to clean it up. This is something else you have to take into account when setting up your taper. Whatever you take off of the taper is going to make it that much closer to the intersection of the skirt, so keep that in mind. Now if I bring two of the legs together, you can see those tapers. It's very slight, but it makes all the difference. Now let's turn our attention to making the skirt of the desk. The first part we're going to make is the part on the front where the drawer goes. Now this is a little trick for using the same piece of board for the drawer front as for the skirt. You first cut off the top and the bottom. Then you cut your drawer front out of the middle of the centerpiece. And then as you can see, when you reassemble them all, it's all one piece. But you want to glue in the outside two edges, but leave the center portion out because that's going to be your drawer front. Now while the front skirt dries, we're going to turn our attention to the other skirts. And that's just a matter of cutting them to length, planing them, joining them, getting them to the right dimensions. Then we're going to put them together with pocket screws. The skirts need to intersect the leg a 1/4 inch in from the outside edge. So to accomplish this, I first clamp a board flush with the outside edge, then add a 1/4 inch spacer, and then glue up my board and clamp it to this contraption. And then when I screw it down and then remove the contraption, it's automatically a 1/4 inch in from the edge. Much easier than trying to measure and line everything up. Plus, this helps hold the board while you're screwing it down. And once we get the final skirt attached, we'll flip it over and start working on the mount for the drawer slides. These drawer slide mounts are spaced with some temporary blocks clamped in place and then secured with pocket hole screws. The drawer box itself will be held together with box joints. I've installed a dado blade in my table saw, and I'm using my homemade box joint sled to cut all those box joints. We need a groove in each of the drawer pieces to accept our drawer bottom. Now the two side pieces are easy, we just cut the groove. The end pieces are a little harder. We don't want that groove to go all the way to the ends of the boards because you'll see it from the side of the drawer. So we stop it a little short on the saw and we finish it up with the router. As you can see, it goes far enough to accept the bottom, but from the end, you can't see it. And this is the view you would see when the drawer is open. You'll never know that groove is there. Next, it's time to cut the bottom of the drawer. We're just using some 1/4 inch cherry plywood for that. And then a little assembly. You never want to glue the plywood in the bottom. You want that to float. So you just glue all the joints, slip the plywood in, and then clamp it up and let it dry. Now it's time to start installing the drawer hardware. I've chosen full extension drawer slides for this so that the drawer will come out all the way. Once we mate the drawer box to the drawer glides, it's time to add the drawer front. We're going to put a little glue on our drawer box, and then just using some ordinary playing cards to space the drawer front evenly on both sides and top, we get it pushed in the hole and temporarily clamp it. Now we can tip it down enough to put a couple of brads in through the back just to pin it in place. This will allow us to take the clamps off and extend the drawer out to reclamp it. Once that's done and it's secure, we take it all the way out and we put some screws in from the inside. Now I want to make a little concave pencil holder for inside the drawer. Now this technique of making this on the table saw was explained in a previous video of mine about making the map frame. I invite you to go back and take a look at that. Once that's made, we're just going to glue it in on the ends only. Remember, this panel in the bottom of the drawer is floating and we don't want to keep it from moving. Likewise, we don't want to glue the top of the desk down to the base. It needs to be able to move, expand, and contract with different humidity and temperature changes. To accomplish this, we're going to use these figure 8 connectors. You see these used a lot in tabletops for the very same reason. For the finish on our desk, we're going to use a water-based polyurethane. Now, I like a polyurethane on surfaces that are going to take a lot of abuse, like tabletops or desktops. And I like the water-based because it dries fast and it's low odor, and it's every bit as durable as a standard polyurethane. And once all our polyurethane is good and dry, we'll flip the desk over and attach the top through our figure 8 connectors. Now, one of my favorite parts of this project is turning the knob for the drawer front. I've got a piece of cherry chucked in the lathe, and I'll just let you watch as I turn it down into a knob. And there's our finished knob. After drilling a pilot hole in the back of our knob and then a corresponding hole in the face of the drawer, we're going to assemble it with a wood screw. And here we have the finished product. Look at the shine on the top of this desk. I just love the way that it turned out. Here's our drawer front with our knob, our tapered legs, and here we have the side view. You know, this cherry has such character to it. There's a lot of spalting in it, some sapwood. I've even left a few wormholes in some inconspicuous places. It just really has a good story to tell. Well, I'm super pleased with how this desk turned out. Now, there's a little backstory behind this desk. Several months back, my woodworking hero and his wife asked me if I'd be willing to build them a desk to go with a cherry bedroom suit that he made years ago. Now, he has since retired and sold his shop and had no means to build this. So I was more than happy to do this for him. Like I said, he was my hero growing up, still is my hero to this day. And every time I'd have a need or need a piece of equipment or a technique that I didn't have, he was more than happy to open his shop to me and help me out. So I was more than happy to build this for them. Now this piece will be a part of the permanent collection tied to his pieces from now on. So it's a huge honor for me. I appreciate you coming along on this journey with me with this special project. And I'd also appreciate it if you check out my website, thetennesseetinkerer.com. There's lots more cool projects on there. Also a means for you to contact me and also join the Tinkerer community. Now, you might get a newsletter or some pictures or an advance notice of a project coming up. You never know, but I'll never sell your name or anything to anybody else. That's just for us to communicate. So, appreciate you coming along. Hope to see you next time, and thanks for watching.